A very good evening to you. You're watching Weekend Primetime News on News First. I'm Chaturanga Puarachi. Before we head into the stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
3 districts still at risk of landslides. Showers forecast during the night in several areas. Grade 1 interviews held at Dharmapala College, Kottawa in the midst of Grade 5 scholarship examination. Minister Mahinda Amaravira explains the President's place in the world. Deputy Minister Palita Tevara Perumal's unruly behaviour caught on camera. India reached poultry target set by Sri Lanka with ease.
On to those stories in detail now. The Disaster Management Centre says the landslide warning issued for 3 districts is still in effect. Meanwhile, the highest rainfall in the country over the past 24 hours was recorded from the Nuwara district.
The Department of Meteorology says due to the activation of the southwestern monsoon, showers could be expected in the Sabaragamu, central, western and southern provinces over the next few days. The Norwood area in the Nuwara district experienced a rainfall of 41 millimeters over a 24-hour period. A house in Dematagadhirama, Katgastora Kandy, was damaged by a tree which collapsed caused by strong winds accompanied by rains this morning. The Department of Meteorology says showers could be expected over areas affected by the drought on the 23rd and 24th of this month. The Department of Irrigation says reservoirs which come under the Mavili project and reservoirs in dry zones haven't had a significant rise in water levels despite the rains in many areas. 369,000 people in 19 districts in the country have been affected by the drought. The Met Department says prevalent situation could continue until the end of next month.
Up next is a look at Action TV.
The extent of the efforts undertaken by the Department of Examinations to safeguard trust in the advanced level, ordinary level and Grade 5 scholarship examinations is evident when considering the rules and regulations the department has imposed concerning these examinations over the past 4 years. As per these regulations, it is an offence to hold private tuition classes, lectures or seminars, distribute or possess model examination papers and marking guides from a week prior to the commencement of these 3 examinations until the examinations conclude. The Department of Examinations was forced to impose these regulations as it was unable to guarantee that the tests were not being leaked ahead of the examination. Thereby, the actions taken by the Commissioner General of Examinations can also be viewed as an attempt to safeguard the reputation of the department. Considering the strict regulations in force a week prior to the commencement of the examinations, it is imperative that an environment that displays the trust, transparency and fairness of the examinations is prevalent at the examination centre on examination days. This notice, published by the Commissioner General of Examinations at every examination centre, lists the regulations that are in force during examinations. During examinations at schools that have been listed as examination centres, rules and regulations imposed by the department are in effect. Today, even the police had to intervene in the face of the actions taken by the principal of Dharmapala Vidyalaya in Kottawa, which appeared to imply that he does not feel the department's regulations apply to his school. The intervention of the police was akin to closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. This is because the OIC of the Kottawa police only arrived at the school to question the principal after the Grade 5 scholarship examination had concluded. While students from several schools in the area were sitting for the Grade 5 scholarship examination at Dharmapala Vidyalaya, the school conducted interviews for enrollment to Grade 1 next year without any authorization. The principal had informed the police that the interviews were conducted by the Past Pupils Association. Incidentally, the principal is ex officio the president of the Past Pupils Association. Parents of students sitting the examination alleged that certain parents had entered the examination centre using the Grade 1 interviews as an excuse. 2 men claiming to be members of the Past Pupils Association had this to say. As per education circulars, since Past Pupils Associations have no role in conducting interviews for enrollment, the Western Province Department of Education could, if it were so inclined, conduct an investigation into the questionable interviews held at Dharmapala Vidyalaya today. An individual who is accused of acting in a manner that brought a black mark on the school and on the education system while serving at a popular school in Colombo was appointed as the principal of Dharmapala Vidyalaya by the Western Province Education Minister against a backdrop where there is an ongoing investigation into the allegations against him at the line ministry. On the one hand, it is not surprising that individuals who have no understanding of what should not be done at a school may not put much store by examination regulations. But in a country with strict examination regulations, which come into force a week before the examination even commences, can an individual act in a manner that portrays a climate of lawlessness on examination day?
Leader of the JVP, Anukumara Disanayake, says both students and parents are facing a catastrophe due to the current competitive education system.
What basis is education decided on today? An advanced level student has to pay 2,000 rupees for seminars in Nugegoda. It is 12,000 rupees for 3 seminars. There are 3,000 students in each of these classes. Where in the world do they teach 3,000 students at once? In Germany, there are no more than 20 children per classroom. In every European country, there are no more than 20 children per classroom. But in the classes in Nugegoda, there are 3,000 students. 1,000 on the first floor, 1,000 on the second floor, and 1,000 on the third floor. The teacher is on the second floor, and there are screens on the first and third floors. Have you seen a teacher who teaches this way anywhere else in the world? The teacher admits that although he is teaching this way, smaller group classes are more productive for learning. The cost of the smaller group classes is 5,000 rupees. There are 300 students there. 3 classes amounts to 15,000 rupees. That student needs to go to school and also has to go for 6 tuition classes. Can he do this alone? Where in the world do you find an education system like this? Do the students have a life? Can the children step outside and play? Can they associate with their friends? Can they build any social relationships? In some areas, the classes start at 5 in the morning. In other areas, classes end at 11 in the night. This is their childhood? Is this even a life? The child comes home at 10 in the night and has to do homework from school. They cannot have a proper bath. They do not get proper sleep. Isn't this a catastrophe?
A new building housing the Erau Urban Council was declared open today by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Dignitaries including the Minister of Water Resource Management, Rauf Hakim, and the Chief Minister of the Eastern Province, Nazir Ahmed, were present at the occasion. There has been no progress at all in the East since the end of the war. One of our special proposals in this regard is to develop our ports to make Sri Lanka a hub of the Indian Ocean. We have entrusted the Urban Planning Agency of the Singaporean government with the task of drafting a plan to develop Trincomalee. Once this is concluded, over the next 10 to 15 years, we can gradually obtain investments and direct government funding under a single plan to develop this port. Tourism development is key. The East can be developed like the South. We have also commenced work on the Hambantota port, and by the end of this year, a separate company will be entrusted with the Mattala airport.
Leader of the JVP, Anukumara Disanayake, also spoke about the state of the country's national resources after independence.
When the white man left in 1948, there was a massive tea garden in the hill country. There were tea estates extending to the horizon. There was tea in storage. What has happened now? All of the tea bushes have been cut and only the withered bushes are left. These are the results of 70 years. When the white man was here, the lands adjacent to the Somavatiya Chaitya were owned by the people. Today it belongs to the Dole Company from America. When the white man left, he owned the Hambantota coast. Today it belongs to China. When the white man left, the islets of Kalpitiya belong to us. Today it belongs to Denmark and India. When the white man left, he owned the lands in Ulhitiya. Today it belongs to the American Dole Company.
Moving away for a moment from the political arena, Virat Kohli, the skipper of the touring Indian cricket team, took time to highlight Sri Lanka's natural beauty.
I looked the Lion Rock especially. I looked it up. It was quite fascinating with what's been done on top of the rock. I haven't been able to visit, but this time I've gone around Sri Lanka quite a bit. Every time I've come before, the tours have been very compressed and short. And during test matches, honestly, it's very difficult to take out time and go anywhere, especially when you have 3 days in between. But after the last test, we got a decent break. So Kandy, we went out and about for a bit. So yeah, I got to see a bit of Sri Lanka. I haven't really explored Dambulla that much. Maybe next time when I come, I'll plan things beforehand and maybe visit a bit more.
Speaking during a public meeting held in Adelaide, Chennai yesterday, the leader of the National Congress, ALM Ataullah, had this to say.
Our party leader Ashraf has said that as long as Ranil Wickremesinghe is the driver, the Muslim community can never get on board the vehicle known as the United National Party. He said that we would be divided piece by piece. Everyone makes money from politics. They sell drugs and make money. They take commission from road projects and make money. But today, Ranil Wickremesinghe has stolen from the treasury. This is what our leader warned of back then.
The concessions provided and the development projects commissioned by the coalition government were highlighted during a media briefing convened at the UNP headquarters, Sirikota, today. Some ask us what we did. Well, we reduced the prices of fuel, gas and electricity. The prices of about 40 different medicines were reduced. Allowances for pensioners were increased. Houses were built. Model villages are being created once again. As we celebrate 2 years since coming into power, we would like to remind that we were the government which managed to increase wages by 10,000 rupees. We would also like to remind that there is some more work that is in the pipeline. We have even launched the country's first ever coalition government in collaboration with the two main political parties in the country, together with several other parties. We understand that this is not a 100-meter race. It is in fact a marathon. We have two good runners. They are the President and the Prime Minister. We have vehemently rejected the notion of extremists, terrorism and racism. Therefore, we always have it at the back of our mind that we should not miss the bus, at least this time.
එමෙතුමා චෝදනාවක් තියෙනවා විජේදාස රාජපක්ෂ එමෙතුමා ඒකබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ පිරිස සමග සම්බන්ධතාවක් වෙනවා ඩීල් දානවා ඔහොම චෝදනා තියෙනවා ඒ සම්බන්ධව ඔබතුමාලා අදහස් පක්ෂයේ යම්කිසි
The party has been given the freedom to talk if ministers or MPs need to talk about something.
විවෘතව කතා කරනවා එතුමාට ඉල්ලාස් වෙන්න කියන තැනට පවා ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේම පිරිස් ඒ හඬ නගලා තිබුණා යම්කිසි තත්ත්වයක්
If something like that happens, the country will be able to see it in the future. You will see in the future. Minister Tilak Marapana took office as the new Minister of Foreign Affairs recently. What has the minister done now? We have a report coming up after this short commercial break. Minister of Foreign Affairs Tilak Marapana called on the chief prelates of the Malwatu and Askari chapters today.
Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana first called on the chief prelate of the Askari chapter of the CM sect, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Gnanaratna Thera. The minister thereafter called on the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter of the CM sect, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Siddhartha Sumangala Thera. Subsequently, Minister Tilak Marapana spoke to the media. No, are you crazy? This is a false story. The IMF has no interest in shaping our economy. We have to know how to shape our own economy. In this process, we might need their assistance, but they will not provide it if it is a waste. We have to show them that their funds aren't going to waste, but that it is being made use of.
ඒක නියම ප්‍රයෝජනයට ගන්නමයි කියන එක. ඔබතුමා යම් කිසි ආකාරයක අමාත්‍යවරයෙක් ඉල්ලාසුවයෙක් ඒ නමතත් මේ ඉල්ලාසුවයෙක් අමාත්‍යවරයට පත්වීම සදාචාර විරෝධී කියලා චෝදනා. මට නම් කියලා නෑ කවදාවත්. කවුරුත් කියලා නෑ. මට නම් කියලා නෑ. මට මට ඒක කිව්වොත් මම ඒකට උත්තර දෙන්න. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියන්නේ කියනවා මාත් එක්ක මම ඒගොල්ලන්ට පිළිතුරු දෙන්න.
Still on local news, a ceremony was held in Tangol today to declare open a new crematorium.
The president who governed this country for the past 10 years lived in this town. The crematorium in this town broke 5 years ago. No one inquired into it. The Good Governance government was established at a time when an agreement had been signed leasing the building of Tangol Girls' School to a hotel. At that moment, I put forward a proposal and managed to stop this in the nick of time. I think that we have managed to do much bigger things over the last 2 years. These are our international victories. We were a country that was cornered internationally. Various sanctions were being imposed on us by the world. This has been stopped because of the trust inspired in the international community in the National Unity Government by the President and the Prime Minister as the leaders of two parties. The whole world is full of praise for this endeavour. I have travelled overseas on many occasions with different presidents. I have travelled overseas with Madam Chandrika, with Mahinda Rajapaksa, and now with President Maithripala Sirisena. I have never seen the acceptance accorded to Maithripala Sirisena across the world being given to any other head of state from our country. The President has also won over the faith of most of the world when it comes to the decisions he has made on clean governance.
Responding to a question posed by a journalist at an event held in the Galagedara electorate today, Minister Dr. Sarath Amurugama spoke on the impact the country has when uneducated people enter politics.
It would be a big problem if a person enters parliament and behaves like it is a Pradeshi Sabha. You have to be well behaved when you enter a Supreme Council. What has happened now is that the opposition is doing politics as divisional level. They don't analyze an economic situation or any other issue. They just hoot. No one knows the policy of those following the flower bud. One person only wants to rule, so that is not a national policy. I have been in parliament for 25 years now and never have I seen such a bankrupt opposition. They do not have the answer to anything. All they want to do is scream and jeer in parliament about irrelevant issues. It is not just us, but those on that side are also saying that they are ashamed to be with them.
A project to develop the main waterway in Ranminith and Tissa Maharama commenced today under the Samata Sevana program spearheaded by Housing and Construction Minister Sajith Premadasa.
This project is being implemented by the National Equipment and Machinery Organisation under the supervision of the Department of Irrigation with financial support from the Ministry of Housing and Construction. A sum of 850 million rupees is being spent on this project.
I am very happy today. The project which we are initiating today is not one that will destroy the country, the government and the people. It is a major irrigation project that will strengthen the livelihoods of 4,000 families. I made a decision when we commenced this project, and I am proud to state to you today that every inch of land that will be distributed under this scheme will be given to the chain of farmers who have battled with the hard earth and the sun for so long. There is no need to look elsewhere. I am proud to say that as the Good Governance government marks 2 years in office, we have allocated 850 million rupees for this project.
News1st national campaign titled Sri Lanka Against Corruption got underway in 2 districts today as well.
Today marks day 20 of Newsfirst national campaign titled Sri Lanka Against Corruption. The campaign was launched in 19 districts.
Everyone should come together and do whatever they can to bring a solution to this. They impose taxes, but there is no work done when it comes to sanitation and waste disposal. The president is good, but the ones who are with him are bad.
Our teams covered every nook and corner of the district to create awareness among the people as part of the campaign today. One of the teams travelled to Peradeniya, Gelioya, Gampala and Navalapiti areas in the Kandy district today. We highlighted the issues which the people of these areas have to grapple with day in and day out. It will be nice to have more humane people who understand and empathize with the people rather than those who are money-minded.
Everyone is the same. Nothing is being done when it comes to nabbing the wrongdoers.
The other team visited Dambana, Viranduru Kote, Mahaoya and Padiyatalawa areas.
All we ask is that the corrupt be brought before the law. The thieves shouldn't just resign, but punitive measures should be taken against them. They should engage in work with the help of the society. What the country needs is a highly intellectual youth. What prevailed earlier is a nepotistic government, but now that President Sirisena has been appointed, the thieves are being captured gradually.
The team later met with the Deputy Chief of the Dambana indigenous community Uruwarge Gunabandia and his people.
What do you think of the corruption levels in our country? Should the government do more, or is the government doing enough? Express your views to us on our social media. Follow us and like us on Facebook and Twitter. We have more news coming for you after this short commercial break. You are with News First, taking a look at more local news. Environmental harm caused by human activities cited as one of the main reasons for climate change. We received this report from the Bambaragala area in Ambilipitia.
This is a botanical garden which was established about 20 years ago with financial support and labour from the residents of Bambaragala. Today there is no sign that a botanical garden ever existed at this location. Area residents claim that this 3.5-acre area was cleared for a housing project with the intervention of a parliamentarian.
We established this reserve here to protect the reservoir constructed with stone. They have bulldozed the exact area that we pleaded with them not to. Heshan Vitanage came here and caused the bulldozering and acquisition of the lands. Our demand was that our forests be protected while implementing the housing project.
News First made inquiries from UNPMP Heshan Rithanage regarding the allegations raised. There were about 10 mango trees which had been planted on about half an acre of a 15-acre plot of land that had been identified by the divisional secretary. A group claiming to be from a women's organization came to me and told me that this land belonged to their women's organization. But when I made inquiries, the divisional secretary informed me that they have not provided this land to anyone. I later informed the women's organization that since the planting of the mango trees was good and because we could carry out the project leaving out this area, we would go ahead with clearing the rest of the land for the housing project.
Minutes after talking about the corruption of our politicians, we now move your attention to the behavior of them. The behavior of our politicians has been a constant source of embarrassment to our very own society. News First received this footage today of Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, Cultural Affairs, as well as Wayamba Development Palitha Thewara Peruma acting in an unruly fashion during a wedding reception held in Dodangoda today. The Ther Festival at the Kandasamy Kovil in Nallur was held today with much pomp and pageantry, highlighting the rich cultural and religious diversity of our country.
The parade of the Ther Festival of the historic Kandasamy Kovil in Nallur commenced this morning following the observance of special religious rituals. Our reporter covering the festival, Nagalingam Jagannath Khanna, noted that a large crowd of local and foreign devotees had gathered for the event. The annual Ther Festival comprises of numerous events and rituals and is the culmination of 25 days of pujas to the gods. The Ther Festival will conclude tomorrow following the ritual of cutting lime.
Well, that's all the news we have for you this evening. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll have more news for you as well. I'm Saturang Haparaji. Thank you very much for watching.